Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today's video, we're going to go over some market trends happening in NHL 23's Hockey Ultimate Team, as well as go over some actual input data by a user in my Discord named Drantini. He was kind enough to track the prices of each of some of the overalls from 84s all the way up to 86s, from 83s all the way up to 86s each day to see what the lowest cost would be. And I want to go over some of those trends. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you give it a like and subscribe for the most up-to-date NHL 23 news, tips, and info. All right, let's get into it. All right, so if you've been playing NHL Hockey Ultimate Team for a few years, you know that Wednesdays are usually the biggest for the market crashing because everyone gets their rivals rewards, hut champs, and then Thursday as well, you get some squad battles in there. But that is when you see the most amount of free cards hit the market, and obviously that has impact. When there's more supply, there's less demand. And then as it goes along throughout the week, it starts to wane a little bit, but there are some interesting trends that Drantini's graph does show. So we'll start with just the overall price drops for each of these. As it shows right now, 83s went from 47 at their highest, which would have been on Sunday, December 4th, and they bottomed out about 4,000 on Wednesday, December 7th, which is kind of what you would expect. But some of the other ones, their drop-off was pretty considerable as the weekend got along. The 86s, for example, their highest price was $23K going into Tuesday. So on Tuesday, December 6th, they were at their highest point. That is when there is the least amount of rewards, and it has been the longest amount of time before the free Rivals rewards come out. And it makes a lot of sense when you consider that that is when the market is at its lowest. To the absolute huge crash that it takes to 20,400 coins, and again, this is on PS5, that's a 2,600 coin drop. And as you can see, the other overalls kind of followed that trend as well. But the 86s were surprising because as the weekend went along, we saw the same thing. Now, this did happen when a new event was launched, which usually has a lot of packs ripped with it, but that doesn't really skew anything from the data. That's something good to keep in mind when new events drop. There are a lot of people that rip packs and put them all in the market because they just want the coins back for them. So something to keep in mind for this. Again, we kind of knew when it was the best to sell and buy cards, but I wanted to give you guys a visual representation. And again, I appreciate Drantini from my Discord putting this info together. I'm hoping that he'll do it again next week. And again, we'll just kind of, as the year goes along, I want to see if we can get some more substantial info over the course of a long period of time and see if maybe there's some other trends that we're not picking up. But as it shows right now, the 83s and really 84s, you're not making a huge price difference. The 86s though, if you were to have bought them on Wednesday, let's say you used all of your coins and bought as many 86s as you could, obviously it's a bit more expensive, you could have made about 2,000 per flip, and that's a decent flip. So just again, pay attention to that, and I thought that this was interesting in just terms of the information provided. So all right, now in terms of another market trend I want to kind of point out here, guys, is people that are trying to complete these objectives. So we've talked about it now. It seems that the game played amount is just increasing. EA is technically giving us a free Master Set player every event, but now they're reaching pretty substantial amount of games played, especially for the casual player. But I want to preach to that and talk to you a little bit about it because there are some things I'm seeing that I think would be a little bit more beneficial. Because there are so many games played, guys, what's happening in the market is that all of those types of cards, especially early on in an event when there is very few of them. So if we go to the Nations of Hockey, there's only 40 cards on the market. Okay, so if you want to use some of these cards to actually complete these objectives, it's going to cost you a ton. I mean, Merzlikins is going for like 25,000 coins. Even Rafael Diaz, who I don't think is a great player, at 25,000. And then you've got Eric Chernak, who's an 82 overall. Let's compare the price here, see what he's 37,000. Like, there's no reason to do that, even if you're just using them to throw in your lineup and then bang out squad battles or some other things. It doesn't really matter. Honestly, if you're going to go that route and you want to put a few in, you're better off making, 2 collectibles and actually making a Master Set player with no intention of actually upgrading them. But you could just go into the Nations of Hockey event, all right, and do the trade-in 2 for one of the random Master Sets and throw them in your lineup for 2 event collectibles. You can get an event collectible for like 6,000 coins. So that's 12K, and you've got a Master Set player that maybe you want to upgrade after a little while, but at least you have that opportunity. Just something to keep in mind, because even still, if you don't want to use it, you get an 84 back. You've essentially just spent 6,000 coins for a rental. But I think that it might be a better way to go about it, because what ends up happening is as more event cards come out, not just master sets, the price will start to drop a little bit. So unless you're able to bang out a ton of these cards right away, just something to keep in mind. I think it's a better route to go for the casual player. Now, in these videos, I do like to give a few players that I think are going for a really good value, especially the no money spent players. This Nicklas Backstrom from the event, which is odd because it is an event card, he's going for about 70,000 coins. I actually really like his center build. 6'1", 201, 90 speed, 90 acceleration. His shot is mediocre, but with Thief activated, he's got 85 on the draw, 92 defensive awareness, 93 stick check. This is a great center build. Now, his price will probably go up a little bit. I wouldn't go anything more than 70K, but if you see him on the market, I actually think this might be a pretty good buy for a lot of people looking for a left-handed center that is actually really quick. So just something to keep in mind, the 87 Nicklas Backstrom. Next is the 87 Dougie Hamilton. I've talked about Dougie Hamilton cards for a while this year. He's just a very, very good build. He's going for about 52,000 coins, and you're not going to find a much better right-handed defenseman for this price, especially with Thief activated. 88 speed, 89 acceleration, and 88 agility. On someone who's 6'6", guys, it's not just about the size, it's the length of his stick as well. Wow, I'm probably going to get out of context for that. But nonetheless, his reach basically covers half of the defensive zone when you're controlling him. He's got 91 defensive awareness, which is great. So just a really good buy, in my opinion, for no money spent if you're looking for a non-master set defenseman. I think this would be a really good one to go after. And the last thing I want to touch on in this video is X factors like Victor Hedman. So with the lower overall progression, meaning that the overalls are not getting out of control. Like they're at 90 overall for December, and they're probably going to stay around 90 overall until January, until they go up to 91. Victor Hedman's X factor is kind of interesting. I don't think he's going to win Team of the Year, which means that you are going to have to pay, you know, essentially 1.5 million to upgrade him all the way to his 99 at some point throughout the entire year, which is just a huge investment in coins. And Victor Hedman doesn't get his huge advantage until his speed gets up into the high 90s, which isn't until later in the game. And those upgrade costs for X factors are exceptional, guys. So he is kind of like that player that where if you're not going to get a massive boost that you can trade him in for basically a free upgrade for the rest of the year with Team of the Year, it becomes a really big detriment to all of your resources because you're going to refund him at some point, or there's just a better, cheaper option. His gold stick 'em up ability is great, and he's very hard to play against. And because the upgrades and the progression is not going out of control, his speed is very low, but it's not, speed is not getting out of control just yet. Yes, there are a few cards that are the outlier, like Nathan McKinnon or Matthew Barzal or McDavid, but for the most part, they're in the lower 90s, and 86 is not going to get absolutely torched by that just yet. It will very shortly. But that being said, here's why I don't think it's that good of an upgrade, because he's always going to have a new card that comes out. So this Victor Hedman, for example, has Seeing Eye, which I kind of like now for some reason. I think it actually works with how goaltenders are playing. And Booming Shot, which is a great synergy that isn't a skater one. 86 speed, 86 acceleration, gets 93 body checking, but the big difference here is he's only 90,000 coin, all right? 90,000 coins for this card is a pretty good value, as opposed to just getting the X Factor, spending all of the stuff to get him up to the same overall. And yes, he does have Stick 'em Up, which is a very good, obviously one of the better abilities. I just think it's a much better route to go. If you really want a Victor Hedman card, buy the card that that gets him up there instead of his X Factor, guys. Again, I think that the cost you're going to end up regretting at some point throughout the year, and it's just how X Factors work, unfortunately. All right, guys, so that is going to do it for today's Market Monday. Hope you guys enjoyed the info and some of the other things I'm trying to cover in these videos. Let me know what you think in the comments section down below, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one.